All right, this is our COSA 252 class for the 10th of May. I will take down the annotation and bring up our site. Here's our website right here, our Canvas site. And what I'll do is start by going all the way up here to our fresh site, and we'll jump into the course syllabus briefly. We have a lot of material to cover, and I'm going to pretty much go right into the demo because I want people to see how to do it. But I need to do this first. Remember, our semester is over on June 1st. That's fine. And if we go down to the calendar, we'll see kind of what we are going to be doing today. I'll mention it. I will do, hopefully, I'll get 2 demos done today. They're not difficult, but they're a little bit time consuming, but I'm going to do both of these. Hopefully I'll get them done. And I'll do them slowly, step by step on Zoom, so you can certainly keep up. All right, next week I've got 2 more to do, working with maps and adding customizations. Now, in reality, there's not 2 on the 24th. There's just 1. I've combined them together. So I'm hoping to get 2 done tonight and 2 done next week. But if for whatever reason something happens and I get behind, I can fill it out. I'm probably not going to do from data to story. I'll see what I can do. For another database class, I'm trying to set up a Postgres online baseball database, but I'm not even sure how much Amazon's going to charge me for that. Or Azure rather. I'm not going to do it in Amazon. I'll do it in Azure. It's not cheap. So I may not even have this assignment, and we're going to talk about that in a second. We've got more than enough anyway. So just remember the date. Now, let's go back and minimize this. So if you look at the date, obviously, if the class is over the 1st and Saturday's the 31st, there's really not much we're going to do live, but I will do a Zoom session. The 1st is the last day. So at midnight, a minute before midnight on the 1st, a lot of stuff is going to come up due. All right. So let's go back to home. The next thing we'll do is jump down here into our weekly recordings. We should already have 4 done. We're doing the 5th one today. Click on last week's recording. Yep, should work just fine. I'll turn it on. Okay, we are recording in the cloud. All right, so that works. I'm also going to turn on the closed captions, and the closed captions work. And I'll even turn off the closed captions and then scoot over. Yep. So it's a decent enough Zoom session with the screen recording, and the size is fine. So you should be able to follow along and finish submitting. There we go. Submitting the final data. I'm a little flexible. As long as you get these main points, we're fine. I do try and watch. Don't take a screen clip of the YouTube video and then repost it, because of course everyone is going to be a little bit different. So uh, uh, try to actually do the assignment. I think I can pick it up if it's an exact duplicate of mine, because nobody's got an exactly duplicate of these graphs. All right, so we'll shut that down. And we'll go back to home. Okay. Now the next thing I'll do is go over here and click on View as Student. And I'll go over here to grades. Let's take a look. So here are my grades, and I'll mention this. My due dates here, and I'll change this to assignment group. That's always a better way to organize stuff. I prefer to do it that way. And I'm going to take away this checkbox. So obviously, data connections, Tableau workspace, configuring data, chart visualizations, common charts. We did all that. And we're going to do these two today. And we're going to do the week after that, we're going to do these two. And then the week after that, we're going to do this one. I don't have any other assignments listed. Here's the final. That's pretty much it. So obviously, I'm about halfway done with my assignments, which makes sense. I haven't done any of the final exam yet. The final's worth a lot, so it's going to give me my points. The alternative assignment, I don't even have. It's not set up to be worth anything. But let's go back and double check because the percentages are important. The step assignments, they won't show up because those were just alternative in case these didn't work. Here's the real weight. A good 70% of your grade is based on these assignments right here. So that's a big portion. That's like the major part. All you have to do is follow along on the video and complete all of these, and that's a solid 70% of the course grade. The final is a 30% of the course grade. So far, that's what we've got. Those are big items. The final's not hard. And if you look at the due dates, final is due, and here's the due dates. Final is due June 1st. Assignment dashboards. Like I've made everything due at the last second. So I'll go into crunch time too, but I will watch. Don't just do a screen clip of what I submit on Zoom and then turn that in. I want you to turn in your own work. So I will watch for that. All right. So let's go back. I'll go back home. I'm now in student view. I encourage you to review. Let's go into section 3. I think that's where we are. Sorting and grouping and calculations. There's good. Here we go. We'll take a look at the PowerPoint. I won't do the PowerPoint, by the way. I'm just going to show you. This is very similar to what we do in our assignment. And they do discuss some of the features. Now, some of the images will reflect a slightly older version of Tableau. And so don't get really locked into if your software doesn't look exactly the same as this, but the concepts are all the same. So they talk about filters and they talk about grouping and data sets. Pretty much that's it. And that's what I'll do in the class today, plus the other assignment. So let's go back home. Now I'm going to I'm going to have the screen taken right over. So I'm going to move some stuff around to keep it out of the way so that I can demo this properly without going too crazy. I'm going to do my best to get this out of the way so I can demo it. And let's move some stuff around a little bit because I want to have the material that I need over here. All right, that's nice. I'm just arranging my windows on my other screen because I'm going to bring this over. So we're going to be doing these two assignments right here, this one and this one. I'll start with this one. We'll go right into the other one. I can kind of explain as we go, but that's where we'll be. So you can just sort of watch, just take it easy. You don't have to start. This is a big, long assignment. I'm going to do it. And what I want at the very end, after doing all these sheets, is similar to what we've done before, because we're going to create a number of worksheets. And then to make it easy, I'll just have you put them, you can make them very similar. I'll show you how to make these. You can make them very similar. We have sets, we have grouping, we have hierarchies, we have filters, and I made a dashboard, and the dashboard makes it easy to put a screen clip in, okay? And that's what I'll do. So having said that, and we'll actually go back and forth to both. I won't even start the assignment until I've got my screen clip because it's cleaner this way. Well, here's my file, and this is a Tableau file, and let's download it. I'll click right there. We're going to download it right into downloads. Remember, it's a TWBX file. That means it sort of has a spreadsheet hidden within it that you can always look at the original data. So I'll save that, and we'll open it up. Now, the original data I think is Global Superstore, but hang on a second. So now that that's open, let's go over here and actually open it up. There it is, Tableau Fundamental, Sorting and Grouping Starter, and I'll start it up. There we go. Tableau Desktop is starting right here. Maximum. So they already started with this first spreadsheet called sorting. And if you go back to data sources, based on, and let me show you this, it's based on a Microsoft Excel file. If you click on the connection, right there, you can go and find out where it's hidden. In other words, here it is, the original file. If you want to copy that out and open it up, you can certainly look at it and see what's inside. But it's just a bit. I don't even think I can open it up. Let's take a look. No, it just opens it back here. There's three sheets in original spreadsheet, and we've brought out orders and people and returns, and they're connected. There's a relationship between orders and people. We've already dragged those out, and you can certainly repeat this thing yourself. This is basic data collection and data connections, and it'll show the relationship. If you want to see the data, you can easy. I think we'll take a look. Can I look at the data? No, I don't want to change it right there. There's orders, and we'll actually take a look at the data right here. Order ID, order date, shipping mode. This is you know, customer name and country, city, state. I mean, pretty much an international store that sells office equipment and related stuff. Everything. There it is. Everything. Okay. We have a people tab and we have a returns tab. If you go to returns, it basically just shows return and order return. If you go to people, there's only 4 salespeople. So that's pretty much it. That's our source data. Now, if I go over here to this first table, okay, that already has a year and a category, and it's just showing us sum of sales divided up into year along the columns and furniture category along the rows. That's pretty simple. And if I go and take a look at this, it basically tells us open the starter workbook, navigate to the sorting worksheet, and I want you to look at something. They're basically saying, first of all, I know this, they want you to understand, uh, let's go over here and I'll go to it. Um, there we go. You'll notice these little these funny looking little sort boxes. And if you click on one, oh, I'm going to sort it, ascending, descending. I can, and then click it again and the sort goes away. It's sorted. I'll get rid of the sort. No, it's sorted the opposite way. I'll get rid of the sort. All right, nothing is sorted. I'm just saying these are the little sort icons that you'll see, and that's what they wanted you to see. And if you click one, so that means sort by, for instance, by year, it'll show, hey, this has been sorted. That's pretty much it. 3 times to click. And uh, I'm covering that, but it's okay. Navigate to the data source tab, click extract, and we're going to do an extract radio button on the data source. We're going to do a data extraction because we want to extract a certain subset of the data. Now wait, here's the instruction. Data source, extract, radio button to edit, right? Extract radio button. So here we go. Data source is over here. Extract is right here. Right now, I'm basing my data on that whole spreadsheet. It's a live connection. If somebody comes in and edits that spreadsheet, it'll be reflected. What if I actually want to extract? I'm going to extract. There we go. All right. I'm going to edit this extraction. Say, okay, I want to edit. Oh, I'm thinking maybe I want to put in a filter. I'm pretty sure I'm going to filter it, add filter, and I think filter by category. And I believe that's what they're telling us to do in this assignment. Let's go take a look. Yeah, we want to add a filter, and we're going to just check the boxes, furniture and office supplies. Okay, furniture and office supplies is it, because I don't want other stuff. Now remember, I'm filtering this way back at the data source area. All right, and I'll say okay and save settings, and now it's gonna sort of change how it looks. Now watch, if I go back to sorting, see what it looks like. It's going to take a second. It's got to save it. Now you'll notice, oh, there's only these 2 items here. That's because I'm now basing my data off of an extraction. That's what I'm doing, and that's what it's telling me to do. Now, I'm going to pull this over to the side because I'm basically I'm going through the steps and I want to make sure I get them right. So let me do the steps without getting too messed up. I'll do the steps. So that's kind of what's going on. And I extracted it, and now I can work with data that doesn't include technology. But let's do this. I'm going to get rid of my filter in a second, but what I want you to do is go down here to the second one instead of sorting. So to go down here and right click, we're going to create. Let's a new sheet. I'm going to rename it. We're going to call it filters. And I don't really mind. I can give it a decent size and look. I do it just to sort of keep it differentiated. I'll make it bold and put it in the center. And I don't know, Tableau bold is fine, and apply that. So it's right there. So what I want to do, I'm going to add the dimensions, select the dimension category, and well, I'm going to drag the dimension to rows shelf first of all. The dimension, I'm going to drag the category. Here we go. Category, I'll put in rows. Now, let's see. Oh, that's right. It's still filtered. I have to go back to the data sources add, and I'm going to have to fix the filter. Watch this. I'm going to go back to the data source tab. Now, there's my extract, and I'm going to have to edit this edit this, and I'm going to have to go down here to filters. I'm going to add a filter. So there we go. Now in this case, I'm going to add a filter with regions. And let's go down and pick a region. Where's my region? In this case, I'm going to actually do an additional filter by central, east, and south. So central, east, and south. I'm not doing west anymore. Now I've got two filters. So, okay, save settings, and it's going to tweak again. All right, let's go back to our filters worksheet over here and see what we have. Now it's hesitating because it has to save it. So it's got category. Now I'm gonna drag regions over here to the rows shelf, and we'll see if all the regions show up or if West is still missing. Let's go region, and I'll drag it over here to rows. And sure enough, technology's missing and rows are missing. And you want to make this look nice, you can also say fit width, and it'll just fit it back and forth here. That's not a problem. Hey, nice. I want to get rid of these. Let me mention something about filters. We have two different filters. This filter is fine. This filter is fine, but they go all the way back to the data source. Uh, I created a data source filter. There's a difference between a data source filter. But I think that kind of explains it. They're going to mention this in these steps. Remember, I made a filter. That's fine. Category furniture and office supplies. Then I made a new worksheet, named it filters. I dragged the dimension over, navigated back to the data source tab, add button on the top right under filters. Wait a minute, it's over here in the data source tab. And then you can add a filter right there. That was the difference. And I messed up. There's a way to add uh, the filter up into that one. Category will go up here. So let me go back to the data source. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to go to filters. Okay, I'm going to edit that. Now, the category we're going to keep, I'm going to get rid of the region filter. So that's going to be in place. That's going to actually change the what gets pulled from the spreadsheet, and that will work on all of our sorting. Works fine. Give it a second. And that works fine on our sorting. But if I want just to filter what I have in this local one, I can go over here in region and drag that right into filters. And then I can say, I just want to filter this view right here. And then say apply and OK. That's the difference between the extraction filter and uh, the extraction filter and just the page filter. So let me fix this. All right. I think that sort of explains it. Now I'm going to get rid of all the filters again. I'm going to get rid of, uh, after closing it, values displayed in the view reduced. Okay. And that's pretty much it. We can change it if you want. Edit filter. I can change it if I want. and it changes here locally. All right, so this is the filter spreadsheet. Let's also drag a measure and a date just for fun, because I want to show you that. So these are dimensions up here, but I'm going to go over here. Here's our numbers right here, and I'm just going to go standard. So it's going to show whatever values are in here, but I'm going to do some funny filtering, and I want to show you this. So let's actually go to uh, sales. I'll drag sales up to my filter right here. Now, I'm going to have average. I want to filter by average. And then I'm going to say, okay, for this particular data, I can say, okay, who at this particular point in time gave me this type of between the high and the low average? And nobody did. Uh-oh. So now I'm going to try to go up and apply that. Nobody did. Nobody went, I'll go there, apply that. And nobody did. Nobody did. Oh, there we go. So you'll notice you can use filters interactively this way as well. So if I go all the way down here and all the way down here, I can now start to filter. Yep, there we go. First one, second one. All right, I'm just saying, these are how the filters can work. I'll cancel that out. You can even go to date if you want to filter by date. I think we have a date in here somewhere. Yeah, there's date. Order date. You can even filter by order date. Pull that up. Say, I want to know maybe what month, and I'm going to look just to look at sales per month, and I can pick the month out that I want. All right. Um, Let me cancel that. Um, Applying a filter live while you're dragging it in here, and I'll pull these out. If all the filters are gone, I get to see everything. If I put another filter in, so I could do quite a bit of stuff here. Let's go over to sales, and I'll drag sales in right here. So it's going to show me the sum of sales. Don't need to see the sum. I can also measure the average. Just a standard table. And if I want to take the sales over here into a filter, I'm going to say, I'm going to compare it to the average. Now I'm going to check. Now, right now, my average is between 340 and all the way down to 116. And it starts at 116. And if I say, well, I want to know who's between 116 and 145, yeah, you're going to see that my values change as I filter it. So that's the filter. And I'll leave that there for now. Just leave that sheet. That's good enough. I would also stay uh, to fit width. You could also fit entire view. It's really not anything big. Um, but leave that sheet in place and it'll show that you had a filter in place. You can even put a date filter, anything you want. But I want to go to the next step, and that's uh, we're going to do grouping and subcategory grouping. So let's do the next one. I'm going to right click on this and go to, well, no, let's just click on it. It's sheet 3. I'm going to rename it and we'll go to grouping. All right. And I'll make it big enough to where it doesn't go crazy. Let's go to 24 and bold and center, and I'll just apply that. That's fine. So here's what they want for the grouping one. I want to drag subcategory into the columns. There's subcategory right there, and I'll bring that right up in the columns. And then sales to the row shelf. Yeah, okay, sales up here to rows. Okay, fine. It's showing me sales, and this is the sum. It doesn't have to be, but it's fine for now. It's the sum of sales. What I want to do is I want to create a group, and there's a couple of different ways to create groups that allows me to analyze. So I'm going to create a new group using on the data pane right here in subcategory. I've got subcategory up here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say create a group. Okay, create a group. So subcategory name, and I'm going to pick, I've got these different things. Let me show you. So let me see, I want to pick out art and then control click binders and then envelopes and then paper and fasteners. I'm going to make a group out of those and I'll just say group. All right. So I've got one group over here. I'm going to have another group, appliances, bookcases, chairs, and furnishings. Okay, make a group. And then finally, and I'll collapse that. Finally, I'll do tables, supplies, storage, and labels. And I can call the group anything I want. If I want to rename it, I can certainly rename it. I can just call it, uh, okay, group one, and then apply that. That's group one, and I'll group two, and then there's group three. They just want to show you. Now, once the groupings are done, these are set. And that's what'll show up because I'm just grouping them. I'm going to apply. I'm going to say okay. Now, when we look at our groups, where is our subcategory? We have a new group subcategory. There it is, group. I'm going to actually pull this up and replace category. There we go. And now I've got, and I'll fit width. Now I've got these three grouped areas. Hey, perfect. That's what they mean by grouping. So I can also, let me go back. There's another way to group. I'm going to go back arrow. You can also do it this way. If you want to create groups, you can, for instance, do click here, and just control click. And then once you've got everything control click, you can say, I want to group those. And it'll show up over here. And what if I want to do click over here, control click, control click, control click. I want to group these. So you can dynamically group them as you're going. All right, that's nice. And then finally, I'll group these together. So now I've got three groups, but they're kind of done dynamically. And you'll notice if I hover over the groups for more than a second, it'll show you the group sum, whatever kind of measure that I'm having it done, or the group average. So it'll show you the group sum or average of the different groups. I think that pretty much does it. Yeah, I did that. That's groups. I think we're fine. After creating a group, the members are automatically combined. So there's a couple of different ways to group. You can leave that. That's fine. So that's the grouping one. Remember, filters, we have these filters over here, average sales filter, and you can actually put in a different filter. If I want to get rid of that filter, I can say, I don't want that filter. I'm just going to filter by region. And I'll say, well, I just want south and west. And it'll just show south and west. So anything is fine. Just show me that you've got a filter in there. Grouping, there's a couple of different ways to do it, of course. You can actually go over here in the data pane and create a group, or you can dynamically create a group over here. You'll see we have a group set up right here, subcategory group right here. And if I want to put it up, it'll replace it. So how about this first group I made? Yeah, I got a couple of different groups. And I'll just drag this out. So that's not a bad way to do it. There's a different thing than groups that I want to mention. It's called sets. So click on a new sheet, right click on it. We're going to go to rename and call it sets. And I'll press the enter key and let's make it big enough to look nice. 22. I'll even give it a nice color. And we'll make it bold and italic and put it right in the middle. There we go, sets. So what I want to do with sets is drag the subcategory to the column shelf and the quantity to the row shelf. So subcategory right here, column shelf, and then quantity wants, well, they want me to go to the row shelf. Pretty simple. I'll do page fit width. All right, so there it is. Now, remember, I'm looking at the sum of sales by each subcategory, and there they are listed down below. No problem. I'm going to create something called a set on over here on the data pane right here in subcategory. Now don't worry about these things, just leave them alone. Go back to your subcategory, right click and say create, a set. Now a set is a little bit different and a set is more flexible and allows you to do a few more things. Now this is going to be a set and here's what I'm going to do with this set, and that includes everything in the subcategory. I'm going to go over here to the top. And I'm going to click on by field. I want the top 10. I want the top 10 by quantity, and I want to sum that. In other words, I want a set of all of these products that meet this criteria. It's not a filter, and it's not quite a group. It's a very powerful tool that you can use. You can also set it for conditions, but we'll just say the top 10 by quantity. The top 10 quantity, and we'll sum the amount. So I'll click on OK. So there's my set right there. And you ought to see the little interlocking, and there it is. The little interlocking thing right there that shows that it's a set. All right, I'm going to grab this set and bring it over to the colors mark. Now watch what happens. It's going to show me what items are the top 10 and what items are not in the set top 10. Well, my top 10 sellers in terms of quantity, in terms of quantity and sum are selected as in and out. And sets will basically say, hey, these are in the set because they met the criteria. These other ones are out. Now, wait, I'm going to try and change this. So I'm going to go and fix this subcategory set, and I'm going to see if I can see if I can edit the set. Here we go. Instead of top 10, I'm just going to say I want the top 2. Apply and see what happens. Yeah, only paper and binders. They're the top 2. So my set can do some interesting stuff. And if I drag it to colors, I can also go over here and say, well, I want to fix my colors a little bit. I'm going to change my in color is fine for B. I'm going to make that green. Then my out color is going to be red, and I'll apply that. All right, nice. So what's in and what's out? And you'll see the in and out over here. That sets. Now I can remove the set from the colors mark. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the set just to show you. I don't want the set anymore. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to do something similar. Remember, we were able to do grouping either by highlighting the item over here in the data pane or actually going over here into the view area. You can do the same thing. I'm going to highlight some of these marks right here. I'm going to highlight this one and this one and this one. Now I can go over here and make a set. There's my set. Okay. And I create a set. These are my sets right here. Oh, okay. Some things are in the set, some things are out of the set. It's a manual or fixed set. It won't update. All right. These are my subcategories. I'll say okay. Very nice. Now, if I bring this subcategory set 2 up here, it's just going to show me in and out of subcategory 2. These are out. This is in. I don't like the way it looks. If I put it down here, it's going to show you subcategories that are in the set and subcategories that are out of the set. So that's how sets work. And I want you can do it either way. You can go back and I'm going to click the back arrow. You can go back and do this one as well, but give me one with a set. Okay, let's do this one. We're going to do one more called alias. So I'm going to go over and click on a new sheet, and then we're going to rename it. This is alias. Let's rename it. All right. Alias, and I'll fix the look. So I'll highlight that. Let's go to large size font, and I'll pick something a little different there. That looks bad. We'll put it in the middle. I'll apply and say, okay. So there's alias. So I'm going to bring in the shipping mode to the columns and sales to the rows. Shipping mode right here to the columns and the measure sales to the rows. Now this is going to show me the sum of sales. And you can change it to average. It doesn't matter for the purpose of this. Let me fit the width of the screen. So here's our sales. First class, same day. Second class, standard class. What I'd like to do is change what these are called. Let's say I have a different way to describe them. I'm going to create an alias. So let's go over here to ship mode. I'll right click on it. Let's do some aliases. So I'm going to say, hey, my alias for first class, I'll say high class, and then the next one is same day. We'll say good value, and the next one is second class, and then best value, and then finally standard classes, free shipping. in other words, I'm just basically putting aliases and I'll say okay, and you'll see it down here. Now you'll notice it resorted by alphabetical. You don't have to sort that way, but that's how it sorted it. Now you can also just right click down here and edit the alias inside that as well. That's not a problem. Leave that alone. So we've got aliases, we have sets, we have grouping, we have filters, and we have sorting. We don't have room for them all. We'll pick 4 of them. So the next thing we want to mention is hierarchies, and that's kind of important. Let's rename it. I need it to be named. Hierarchies. Hopefully that's spelled right. And because I want it to show up nice on the sheet, I'll usually give it about a 24 bold font and something big. It doesn't matter. Semi-bold, that's fine. Put it in the middle. Change the color and apply. All right, so that's hierarchies. So here we go. I want the subcategory and I want to drag it on top of the category dimension up here. Wait a minute, let me show you something. I have category. And if you want to see category, just drag it over here. You'll see it. There's 2 categories, office and furniture supplies. Man, I feel like getting rid of that. Well, I need more. I better go back and get rid of my original. Let me drag that out. I have to get rid of my original filter. So let's go to data source. Let's go back up here to, I'll edit. Let's fix the stupid filter. Okay. And let's delete that filter. All right, nice. Save settings. Give it a second to figure out. Okay. Now I'll go back to hierarchies. Now that the filters are straightened out, obviously categories are going to show me these 3 things. I'm going to take that out. But I want category and subcategories. I want a hierarchy. So I'm going to come down here to subcategory, the original one, and drag it. I'm going to, wait a minute, let me get the pill. They're called pills. I'm going to drag the pill right on top of category. And it's going to say, hey, create category, subcategory. Yeah, it's going to do that for me. We're going to rename it because they're asking us, what do you want to call this? We're just going to call it categories. Okay. Now you'll notice I have this hierarchy. It's called categories. And I'm going to drag it over here to the columns shelf. There we go. Categories. Okay, that's not bad. Oh, wait a minute. I need this one, this big one, columns. There we go. And now I'm going to drag sales over to the rows shelf. Where's our sales? And you'll see what happens. Oh, that didn't work. This is it. Categories should go right here. Ah, sorry. Right here, you see the little plus icon that expands it. Now I have categories. Now, if you want to change the chart, I think we're okay with the chart, uh, but you can also go over here to show me, and it'll show this. Remember, it expands and contracts. I think you could have it either way. That's how the categories work. Sales ended up being over here in the marks card, so either way is fine. I think that's pretty much it. That covers the different types of filtering, grouping, sets, and even hierarchies. It's really not difficult to do. Uh, Something similar to this. This is fine. If I were to go to page width, normally I'll fit width on everything, although you don't have to. It's not bad. I mean, it's okay. So let's create a dashboard and then submit it. And let's take a look and see what I've asked you to submit. Um, I want filters, hierarchies, sets, and grouping. Take a look how I did hierarchies. I changed it to a stacked chart. Yeah, okay. And that's pretty looking, but it doesn't tell us a lot. So yeah, I can change that to a stacked chart. Sure. And I can change it to fit width. I mean, it shows you, but it doesn't explain it graphically. To be honest, if you're doing subcategories, the best look is this. You can even change the size of this if you want, but yeah, here's standard view. You can fit width, you can do entire view. That's kind of big. So if you want to do a stacked chart, that's fine. We'll fit width and we'll say that's good enough. Now, the other ones are all pretty much, well, these two are sets and groupings. So let's put all four into our dashboard and we'll take a look. Sets I had look like this because I made the sets look like that. I did my in and out. And then my grouping, well, I'll tell you what, I can do a couple of different ways of grouping. This is one way of grouping it. And I think there is another way, subcategory group. I think we put it in here, and I got rid of this. And then I'll change the table type to just a bar chart. No, we just want, I don't even want stacked bar. Eh, I don't want subcategory grouping either. What I want is subcategory group one, I guess is fine. I'll just drag that in. That's good. Shows me a decent enough group. Fit width. So remember, I can do different types of grouping if I want to make it look a little nicer. So for instance, here's my subcategory group. And if I want to fix it, then I'll go over here and say, well, here's my group. This is, which one group is this? This is group one. I'll right click and I can edit the group and say, well, these are my groups and I want these. Okay. And that ought to work for me. Subcategory group one. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And that ought to work. My columns are subcategory group one, group one. Yeah, okay. Well, these aren't organized as well as I'd like. Uh, let's edit the group. I want to fix the group. So watch. So I've got these different groups that are kind of messed up. I'm gonna drag accessories into that group. So now I have three groups, and I'm gonna drag machines into that group, and I'm gonna grab phones into that group. So now we've got them. Put phones into that group. There we go. I'll group all that together and apply it. All right. I got better groups now. I don't have I don't have so many things hiding outside. Can I can I grab this and put it inside a group? Sure. I'll group that and apply it. So you can mess around with it. You can ungroup, clean everything up. If I ungroup it, if I say this, ungroup, this, ungroup, this, ungroup. Now everything's ungrouped. So now if I want to, I can just start grouping stuff together and do control click and grab a whole bunch of stuff. There's one group. Okay. Now I'll grab this stuff. There's another group. And then finally I'll grab these. There, and there's another group. And then when I apply it, it'll just show up as three big groups. So have a subgroup on that one. We're fine. Filters are okay because you can even see that I have filters over here on region, and that's fine. Would you like to change the chart type? There's not much you can do to make it look fancy, but you can certainly do that if you want. I'll fit the width. And if you like it, just remember, sometimes graphs don't make it look any better. Let's go over here and fix my uh, new dashboard all the way over here in dashboard. So the first thing I'll do is I'll grab filters and I'll put that in right here. All right. Next thing I'll do is I'll grab hierarchies and put it over on this side. Uh-oh, that's not good. I don't want that either. Get rid of that. Remove this container. Now, I don't want that. So now I'm going to put hierarchies over on this side. No, over on this side. There we go. And I don't need that. I don't need these categories. Get rid of that. My categories are acting funny. Let's go over to categories and dashboard one, hierarchies. There, we're going to go to hierarchies. This is my dashboard, right? Oh, okay. Hang on. This is acting fussy. I'll go up here to the top. All right. Now, I've got hierarchies. Now we'll go to sets. And I'll put the sets over here. There we go. And then I think I'll move filters over here. Let's move filters back over here. There we go. Filters, hierarchies. I'm having to adjust them. Filters, hierarchy, and then we'll do sets is down here, and then I'll finally pull grouping in my last dashboard. I'll put it into this corner. All right, that's about right. Now, these extra panels, you don't really have to worry about. I don't know if I can get rid of these. I think we can remove from the dashboard just that panel. I think we can remove just that panel. You don't need it. And we can click on it and just remove that part from the panel because all we need is this. Now, you can move this over, and this is your screen clip, and I'll make it a little bit nicer looking. It doesn't have to be perfect. It won't resize, so you really not much you can do there, but resize it in the screen. All right, so I'll do a snip and then put it in. What time is it? 8 o'clock? All right, I've got to finish this other one, even if I lose people. Let's go to snipping tool. Let me grab the snip. Obviously, I don't need the whole thing, but this is basically it. And I know that you did it. Your version is going to be different. I know that. So once it's in the snip, just copy the snip. And once the snip is copied, let me get this out of the way. Darn it. Once I've got the snip copied, I can just paste it in. So here's my assignment. Come on, there it is right there. Start assignment. Now all I have to do is say, okay, here is my dashboard. Okay, and I'll paste it. So let's make sure it pastes. And it pastes fine. And you don't really have to resize it. I mean, if you want to, you can, but it's not necessary. It'll show up fine on my screen. These are the dashboards. Now, I think there was other ones too. You can see we had sorting, filters, grouping, sets, aliases. We didn't fit them all onto the dashboard. I didn't need them all, but I'm going to submit the assignment. Fair enough. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to keep it really simple. The other assignment, let's go back up here. I'll change my reading size. Let's go back to home. That's sorting and grouping. Now the other one's calculations. Some of the stuff we're going to be able to copy from the assignment. Here's our assignment calculations right here. Now, as far as Tableau is concerned, I can just close this. I mean, I don't need it. I don't need to save it. We'll start out with a fresh file. Here we go. I won't start the assignment until I'm done. I'm going to download the file again. Let me download it. Yeah. The calculation starter, that's fine. Once it's downloaded, I'm going to open it up. Here we go, calculation starter, and Tableau will start right up. It's the same data. I think it's the global superstore. If you go to data, yeah, it's global store again. Okay, that's fine. So we're good here. Let me go back and we'll get the first step. So we're going to do some calculations. Take a look. We're going to start with a new worksheet called totals. Drag person to the columns and category to the rows, and then sales measure to the text mark over here. I'm going to drag total to the view, the analytics pane, and analytics is up here. And then select column grand totals. Let me show you how that works. So remember, new sheet, it's called totals. Rename the sheet called totals. All right. This is just my sheet one. I'll just rename it. There's nothing there. And I'll call it. I'm going to give it a title. I'm sorry we can't put any graphics in there. Wish I could. We'll make it 4 point and we'll make it italicized. There we go, right in the middle, apply it. There's totals. So I'm going to drag a person to column and category to rows. There's my people, person. Okay, column. These are my salespeople. There's just 4 of them. And I can fit it to width if I need. There's my 4 salespeople. Now I'm going to drag category to the rows, and this is my original category right here, category over here to rows. Okay, that makes sense. Now wait, what I'm going to do now is drag sales to the text mark right here. I want the sales amount. Now you could drag it here, but you can drag it over here to the text field right there. And there it is. So, and right now it's total sales, which is fine for what we want. That's fine. But I want grand totals for every person. I want grand totals. Do you want a total by row or total by column? Watch. Go over to analytics. Click on totals. Drag totals over into the view area right here. Just drag it over. And as soon as you click on it, it'll ask what you want. So remember, I'm just going to click on totals. As soon as you start dragging it, this pops up. They want me to pick 2 column grand totals. So I want to know what each person. There it is. There's my totals per person. Now, I'm like, I can see that Anna, who's our top person, Anna's our top salesperson. That's fine. I want to take a look at the total submenu though. I'm going to go back to totals over here and is that it? Yeah. No, it's not it. Hang on. Analytics drop down is there. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed up. Let me explain. This statement right here, what they're talking about is the navigation bar up here, not analytics, but analysis. And I messed that up the last time too. So if you go over here to totals, now you can change from to get rid of the column grand totals, go back here to analysis, totals, and show row totals to the left or row totals to the right. Let's go to standard view. So let's go back over here to analysis, totals, row totals to the left, show row grand totals. There we go. So you can show totals and you can show it to the right or to the left. I think that's it. We're going to leave that. That's as good as it needs to be. I'm going to leave that fine. And you can fit height if you want, but that's fine. We use totals. Great tool, but I'm going to go to the next one. Totals is done. I want a new worksheet. Now we're going to get into calculations important. It's not as bad as it could be. Let's rename it to calculations. It's not as bad as it could be. So I'm going to highlight that, make it a decent size font, and I'll pick something a little bit different. Let's go all the way up here to Comic Sans bold. That's fine. Put it in the middle. Give it a strange color. It doesn't matter. All right. So I'm going to drag the subcategory and product name to the rows shelf. Both. Watch what happens. Subcategory. Drag it to, oh, hang on. Sometimes the pill doesn't want to activate. This is called a pill. Subcategory to rows. And product name to rows. Watch. Yeah, see, it's uh, organized by subcategory and then by product name. We haven't put any data in there yet. I am going to drag sales, profit, and quantity up here to column. So here we go. Sales, there's the measure. Profit, there's the profit. That'll show up on a different little screen there. And then finally, I think quantity. Yeah, we have quantity. That's the number of items. Now, this is pretty standard. In other words, what's the total of my sales? What is the total of my profit? What's the total of my quantity? I can calculate stuff with this data, but I'm going to have to create calculated fields. What I'm going to do is over here on show me, I want to select the text table. Because those are the numbers that I want right now. And now if you want to sort of stretch everything out, you can to make it look a little nicer. All right, that's fine. So this is where we're at. I'm thinking, I'd like to know maybe what's our highest profit or what is our highest cost. We're going to use a calculated field, and they're going to show you how to do this. I'm going to break sales and profit down per unit. I'm going to reorder the measure values so far to make sales and then profit and then quantity. So I want sales to go first, right there, then profit, then quantity. I want it in this order. This is my sum of sales for this item. The profit sum of profit, and the sum of quantity. Okay, but I want some additional information based on this. The sales and profit can be broken down per unit. That'll help me determine which individual unit costs I have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to the sales measure and create a calculated field. Over here on the data pane, I go down here to sales. I'm going to right click. I'm going to create a calculated field. And this is how you actually make calculations. And I'm going to change the name of this calculation to, sorry, sales per unit. Okay, sales per unit. Now, I have to do the aggregation here, and I'll mention this. I gave you the formula. All you have to do is copy it. Okay? You can type it in as well. And some of this stuff will come up automatically as you type, but you can just paste it in. Paste it over what exists. And it'll say down here below, the calculation is valid. So sales per unit basically says, take the sum of sales and divide by the sum of quantity. Okay, that gives me sales per unit. Perfect. I'm going to say apply and okay. All right. Now I have sales per unit. Tableau will automatically fill in fields, and if you practice with the calculate pane, it'll do that. I want you to create another calculated field off of the profit measure. So let's go down here to profit. I'm going to right click. I want you to create another calculated field. Remember, this is profit. And I'll actually kind of show you. First of all, let me rename it to profit per unit. And here's how it kind of works if you type it in yourself. I gave you the code, but for instance, sum, and then you put in a parenthesis. Now it's going to ask for an expression. So I'm going to put in a bracket. Now, if I try to just put in profit, calculation contains errors. But as soon as you click on it, it puts the brackets around there. So it's not going to kill you. I'm going to finish my parenthesis and then say, wait a minute, profit, the sum of all profit divided by the sum of, now I'm going to click on quantity. It should put my brackets in automatically, but I still have to close the parenthesis. And my calculation is valid. So it pulled the data in from my tables. Hang on. This is profit per unit, right? The sum of the profit divided by how many units I sold. That absolutely is profit per unit. Okay. I'm going to apply it and say okay. Now I want measure values to show up over here. So I want to drag sales per unit and profit per unit over here. Let's take a look. I want to drag, where is sales per unit? There it is. I want to drag sales per unit over here. And I'm going to drag profit per unit over here because I want them to show up over here. But I'm going to reorder them. So let me, all right, I'm just cleaning them out a little bit. So I'm going to have to reorganize. And they say right here to reorder the values. And here's how they want me to reorder the values. Sales, and then the aggregation sales per unit. Now this means something special. I've already used my sum function inside the calculation. So it makes a difference, and you're going to run into that. If you don't do it that way when you do a calculation, then when you start to drag these calculations up into columns or rows, it will sort of like do a double thing and mess up your aggregation. So just be careful of that. So we're going to start with sales. There we go, sum of sales. And then we're going to do aggregation sales per unit, and it'll be right below it, right there. All right. Then we're going to do profit, and then aggregation profit per unit in that order, and then quantity. So these are the right order. Sales, sales per unit, profit, profit per unit in quantity. Now, I'm going to make one more calculated field that's going to tell me individually, I want to calculate the average cost per unit sold. Remember, sales and profit are the two big things I've got to calculate. So for instance, Amazon Basics, 3-button USB mouse. I sold 88 of them. Sales per unit, $6. Profit, $32. Wow. Profit per unit. Total sales, $88. 14 of them. Okay, gotcha. Now I want to know the individual. So my final new calculated field, I'm just going to drag right from up here, right here, this little box. I'll just say create a calculated field. I'm going to pull in some different stuff. You can do it a different way. All right, my calculated field is going to be called cost per unit. Okay, now I'm going to have to type this in. I know it's got to be, I'll put a bracket in. Sales per unit. Yeah, let me click on that. And it's just sales per unit minus profit. Because if you have sales minus profit, that equals costs. So I'll put another bracket, say profit per unit. I'll just click on it and it goes in. And it should be valid. Okay. All right. I'm going to apply it, say okay. Now I'm going to drag this cost per unit right here to the bottom. There it is, cost per unit. Okay. If you look at the updated table, and I'm going to go down here and take a look at appliance. Let's see if we can find appliance. If I did it right, my appliance, no, that's not it. Where's my appliance subcategory? Oh, the Hoover vac should be the highest one. Let me sort it. Here's my appliance subcategory right here. Okay, and I'm going to go over here and say, look, I want to sort this. I want to sort. I want to sort this by highest to lowest. If I go over here and say highest to lowest, there we go. Yeah, it's true. Hoover is the highest cost per unit. It's exactly what we want. All right. Now there's one more thing I'm going to mention, the string function. I think there's string date and table. I'll do them. Might as well. We got 3 more to go. So leave this alone. Just leave this where it is. That's our calculation. We got these measure values right here. Let's start another sheet. I'm going to right click and go rename. This is kind of a string function. Now you can clean your data up before it ever comes into Tableau, but you can also sort of clean it on the fly if you need to. Let's make this big enough and bold and center and apply it. So I want to create a new worksheet. I'm going to create a new calculated field and call it product split. Just hang on. Say, okay. Right here, it's nothing there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here and create a new calculated field right there. A new calculated field. And we're going to call it product split. The reason I'm calling it product split is because I want to split out that product ID. And I'll explain how it works because I'm just going to paste it in. Uh, Tableau has a full language just like Excel does. Here's the actual, here's the rule. I'm going to use a function and it's, Tableau has functions like Excel has functions. The split function takes like 3 arguments. First, you have to put in what are you trying to split and then a comma. Then it's going to take in, hey, what symbol do you want to put in between the split and then a comma. And then it's going to say how many characters. So you have to know how the split works, but it'll work, no problem. All right. So I'm going to say apply and okay. So I have product split. I'm going to drag the new calculated field into the rows shelf. There's product split right here into rows. Hey, nice. And I'm going to also drag, I think they want sales over here. Yeah, sales and quantity to the column shelf. So let's drag sales and we'll drag quantity and that's fine. But you'll notice I'm using this shortened version of the product. Wait, this is from product ID. Yes, it was. Let's do this. Ah, come on. There we go. Product ID. Yeah. Products, chairs. What do these product splits mean? Well, if you go back to your data source and you go over here to, there's orders. And if you go over here to product ID, yeah, there's product ID. So we have furniture BO, furniture CH, office LA. These are the subcategory. It is office supplies, but LA stands for labels and CH stands for chairs. And I wanted a cleaner data set. So when I go over here to string, that gives me a cleaner data set. Um, all right. I'm going to choose text labels for this. I'll go to show me in text labels, and that's fine. And if you want to drag this out, just click in any one of these and spread it out a little bit, or up on top. I think that'll do it. That spreads them both out. Yeah, that's fine, and that's good. That just shows that you got this text splitting function done. All right. We have another one, 2 more to go. I'm going to click on this and we're going to do a date because I want to show you the date function. Let's rename it. This is uh, date calc. Now, I'm going to do a calculation for using a date difference. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's go forward. Sheet 4, rename, darn it, date calc, and I'll fix it. 24 center, bold and italic, apply and okay. So I'm going to create a new calculated field and call it order process time. So go up here, click on your little calculation button, say a new calculated field. Now, this calculation is going to be how long does it take to process an order? Order. Now, the function that I have to put in is, and Tableau's got a lot of functions just like Excel does, and some of them are really very similar to Excel functions. Here's what I'm going to use. DATE-DIFF. Wow, it already comes up, and then a parenthesis, and the date part has to be day. The start date has to be the order date. And I'll just click on order date. There we go. And it fills it in. And I'll put a comma. So I want the difference between the order date and the ship date. I didn't even have to type in the brackets, but I did have to finish the parenthesis. As soon as I do, you'll see the date calculation's valid. This is going to be the difference between when they ordered, when it was shipped. I'm going to say OK, apply, and then OK. So I've got the order process time now. All right, I'm going to drag the category and subcategory dimensions to the rows. So I'm going to drag category right there. And subcategory right there to the rows tab. Now I'm going to drag order process into the view, and let me mention this. In the text it says drag order process time calculated field to the view. What do they mean by to the view? They didn't say on the shelf. What they mean is anywhere in here. This is my view, order process time. I think you can also do it to text. Let's try this. Order process time, if you drag it to your view, yeah, there it goes. Now, I have to change the measure to average. But let's go back. I'll show you. So what if instead of dragging it over here, I just drag order process time up to text? Yeah, same thing. But I have to change it from sum to average because I want to know the average time. There it is, right there. And I can expand this a little bit to make it more reasonable. There we go. So now we can see the average order time in days listed. All right, I think that's, is there anything else? I did the date. I want to do a table calc. One more, and I think that's it. Yeah, we're going to do a table calc. Last one, then we're done. I know it's 8:30, so we're in pretty good shape. So this last one is a table calc. Remember, we've got that. We're going to do this last one. I'm going to say rename that to table calc. Okay, table calc it is, and I'll change the size of it. I know I can do other stuff like put in background colors and stuff. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to go to 24. I'll pick a different font this time. Doesn't matter. Rockwell. It looks good. And italic and bold and put it in the center. And there we go, table calc. So I'm going to put person and category into the rows. This I'll show you. We're going to put person, where's person? Right down here, person, into a row. And we're going to put category into a row. So now it's broken up between person and category. That's no problem. I'm going to drag the sales measure into the view. Now, when they say into the view, they also mean into the text. So let's drag sales in either to the text or here. Doesn't matter. So now we have sum totals per person, per category. No problem. Now I'm going to right click on sales right over here. Where is it? I'm going to right click on sales and I'm going to say, wait a minute, add table calculation. I don't see it. Now let's go over here. Right click on sales. There we go. There we are. I'm going to add a calculation to the whole table. Add table calculation. Now, wait a minute. So far, it's going to show me the whole table, but I'm going to change it. I want to show percent, not difference from, but percent of total. Okay, so far so good. Percent of total for everybody? Not necessarily. I want to show percent of total individually. Pane down. Ah, got it. So you can do some interesting table calculations. Oh, that's done. We've got it. So percent of calculation is set. That's what we want it to look like. Perfect. All right. This way we can do some quick calculations without having to create a calculated field. It works pretty fast. Let's finish up. I'm going to right click on the sales measure and select clear table calculations. Right click on the sales measure over here and I'm going to say clear table calculations. All right, that's fine. It just shows me the numbers. On the same menu, right click on the same menu, click percent of total from the quick. There we go, quick. So you can do percent of total from the quick. Does the same thing. All right. By default, the text direction is set to table down. I'll right click on the sales measure and say, pane down from the compute using, there we go, pane down. So you can do it either with the full interactive or you can do it with a little quickie. Right click. All right, and you can do different ones. This is all I want. Let me show you what I want and I'll build it for you. I want string calc. I want calculations. You can do just appliances and they're all text boxes, date calc and table calc. So let's build this. I'm going to create, and let me make this a little bit, oh, they don't have to be giant. I mean, honestly, I'll do it this way though. There we go. Looks a little nicer. And what about date calc? Is date calc going to be messy for me? No, that's okay. What about string calc? And string calc's okay. And then what about calculations? Ah, yeah, calculations is fine. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. Appliances is good. Yeah, we're okay. It'll show enough. It won't show the whole thing. But there's my appliance. All right, let's go to dashboard. And so let's get this started. First thing I'm going to bring over is a string calc, and I'll just drag it right in here. All right, fine. The next one I'm going to bring over is a calculation. I'll just put it on this side. All right, that's fine. Now the third one I'm going to bring over is a date calc. I'll put it over here and on the bottom. All right, nice. And the fourth one is my table calc. And I'll drag it all the way over here and on the bottom. That gives me 4 squares. Shows me enough. Your data won't look exactly the same, but it's close enough. So let me do a snip. I'll create a new snip, and this is all I want, just these four. Yours will look different, of course. All right, and I'll save it. So I've got that set. I can now go and complete my assignment. So the actual steps in here show you everything. So just you can read the steps and do it and just use the video to help if you run into any problems. And then of course you can see, and I'll paste it in. Pretty simple. All right, so do your own. Don't get in a hurry. You know, you can always do part of it and then save the file and then come back to it and open it up. You don't have to do it in one sitting. Let's submit the assignment. All right. And that I know that was long because we were here from 7 to 8:30 and all I did was demo and it's detailed oriented. But the steps are there. And I did double check. All of the steps work fine. Uh, if the, like I say, if you run into any problems, since I go in the same order, just use the YouTube video and uh, find where you're having a hard time. Otherwise, let me know. All right, I've got those submitted. I'm done with that. My Tableau looks fine. There's a lot of other stuff you could do with this, but it's not necessary. For instance, if I go to table calc, can I, would it help if I change the format of a chart? Not really. I mean, some stuff looks good and some doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would say an interesting one would be the calculation one with cost per unit. That, to me, would be interesting because if I say, look, I don't care about anything else, I'm going to pull out all of this. I don't need sales. I don't need aggregate sales. I don't need sum of product, aggregate product, sum of quantity. All I want is cost per unit. And frankly, subcategory cost per unit, that's what I want. Now, could I create like a tree map? Oh, yeah. For each group, it's going to show me what's killing me. But this is so many, this is so much. I'm going to have to put a filter on this. So let's do it this way. If I were to do a filter, I'm going to say, hey, let's take a look. I got subcategory and product name, but I'm going to have to put a filter on aggregated costs per unit. This is my set. Let's edit. Cost per unit? No, that's fine. What if I were to filter this out? And this is just an example. You don't have to turn this in. So my cost per unit. What if I want to sort of filter this? I need a filter by cost per unit. Yeah, well, let's see if I can filter by cost per unit. There we go. I'm going to go up here and take cost per unit, put it in a filter. Now, I want a range of units. So my top cost per unit is $4,074. I want to see stuff that's really expensive. So anything like $3,000 and above, let's apply that. Wow. We only have one thing that's that giant. I don't want that. All right, let's go down. Let's find something that's not quite as crazy. I'm going to look for stuff that's between $500 and $900. It's going to show me that. Okay. I'm just saying. And you can make little buttons that'll automatically do it too. All right. We like it. It's good. I'm gonna cancel it. We don't need it. I'm just mentioning there's other stuff you can do. Okay, I'm going to close this. I won't save it. That's done. Next week we've got two more. I know it's intense, but I want to get through all of these. Save changes? No. And the reason I want to get through these is because this is, what was it? Tableau Fundamental Certification. There's a Tableau Fundamental Certification. Certified Desktop Specialist. That's the one. We don't have it. I mean, I can't buy you vouchers, but here's the thing. If they say prepare for the exam, they're basically saying recommended training and reference. Well, Desktop One Fundamentals is an instructor-led course that they will sell you, but this is kind of what we're basing our class is based on Desktop Fundamentals. Now, Trailhead Academy is fine. Desktop One Fundamentals is that's it. And yeah, you can buy it and they'll charge you for it. There's also like stuff on LinkedIn Learning. Currency, uh-oh, I'm not going to buy it, but it's based on this. So it would be a good, you know, experience. There's other higher level Excel stuff. Uh, but but I'm just saying that's why I use the fundamentals curriculum. Okay, we're going to call it a night. I'm going to shut it down and then put the recording up. I know you those students that watch this are going to want to see step-by-step recording, so we'll do that. Let me turn off the recording and keep up with your stuff. There we go. And we'll see you next time.